Oh boy! Ah, I forgot. Oh no, oh no. Can I be fast enough? Because it only takes the first few seconds, and I don't want to make an individual one. But I do feel this needs to be said. I'll be doing another D&D thing today. Don't worry about that. And after that, I'm probably gonna get my fucking lunch. Anyway, more of the video games, as they call it. So far, Adine's Date's not been bad. It's been really to the point, is the thing that gets me. The other dates have kind of danced around it. With Adine, you seem to just get right into it. It's like, hey, here's the Adine thing to talk about. Let's do it. And it feels kind of weird, considering this is extremely linear. There's barely any options. It's straight to the point. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like, it's a way to handle it, but it's just kind of weird next to the other ones, which clearly have very different mentalities. I do wonder what the actual order is of the characters, because it's kind of weird. I like this. I'm giving it a little bit more oomph. Or at least I'm giving it the oomph that it needs. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fly and do my tippity-toppity bestie best, is what you're saying here, basically. And there's nothing, and I mean nothing, you can do to stop me. Because at this point, I imagine Adine's just kind of sick and tired of your chit-chat. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna make Mastery rank 13. So, if I recall correctly, Mastery rank 13 is the one you gotta get to get everything. Oh man, cool! I can make some of the things I can make. Ah, cool! I can make more primes. No, it's 14, and I need that for a Phona prime. What's a Phona? Oh, it's a little hill. I'm mostly doing it for the Tigress though. I got a Tigress waiting to be built. I want it. I just want it! But I can't get it quite yet. I'm getting a lot more primes than I thought I would. What about Carrier Prime? That one kind of showed up out of nowhere. When did Carrier Prime get at it? And what kind of prime weapon does he come with? I don't like how this looks. Original Carrier Prime just looks like a bag. This one looks like a fucking spider monster. Like, just a few tweaks to the design. Look at that. That's just that's a little drinking bag. A little, what do you call it? It looks more like a water skin. Then a little, and now it's this weird, spooky spider monster. I don't know what to think about that. Oh wow, that's a lot more health and a lot more. Oh damn, and an additional polarity out of the box. Holy heck, that's a lot of polarity. What? But it's recently re-entered because I've been getting Carrier Prime parts. Where's this coming from? Wait, there's a Worm Prime? Last time I checked, there was only like one. Maybe I just didn't know what was going on. Ah, so that's the one Como has. Oh, god damn it, that looks awesome. Although I didn't get to see seeing it like this. That just looks so much different. It's so much longer, too. Original Worm, it is just not as long. Surprised I never made a Taxon Prime, because Taxon is the one you get for free. And also not a bad one. Molecular Conversion is amazing. Getting some overshielding is very good. Essentially makes you so much beefier. The problem is I don't like Taxon in general. It's just not... I don't know. I like Helios' utility as a scanner, although I might have to do away with that at some point. Because... Is it stronger? How much better is it than Helios? I like how we're talking about this right here, right now. Actually, Helios has more armor and is just beefier. This fucking killer bot... Although, I guess in terms of, like, strong... maybe if I can get a detect vulnerability... If I can get this one, maybe? No, if I can get this one, Helios is definitely more worth it. Because then I get... Oh, look at that! Look at that! That's a lot of bonus damage! And it uses the Sentinel polarity. What polarity? What is it called anyway? So that is called... Penyaga. VD-scratch Y. I wouldn't call it a Y. I'd call it more of a part H. And the R. That's not an R at all. Although, I guess if you tilt your head to the left a little bit, yeah, it kind of looks like a very swoopy R. Yeah, I need to polarize more, but I have to spend all my forma on my syndicates. I'm trying to get my syndicates up, get the stuff I want, and then jump syndicate to syndicate, which, dear God, is expensive. A friend of mine has every syndicate on hate. He somehow got that done, and I'm like, wow, that's impressive you did that, but, So, once you get on bad terms with a syndicate, you get pushed down into one of these twos, and, yeah! An Orcan fucking Catalyst and 10,000! Or a Forma and 50,000! That's a steep price to pay for them not to hit your guts. And you need a lot to get everything you want, though. Like, you're not gonna get this in a day. You're not gonna get this in a week. You're gonna be spending a month or so. And that's with the benefit of, like, I think the way it works is you're only limited in, like, your emblem standing, so you could do the daily missions, get a bunch of extra. So you really want to exploit that plus 25% as much as you can to really get that extra bit of a rolling going. Man. Oh man, that sounds cute. But let's go back. Let's get back to the translation. What I'm supposed to be doing here today. Here's the problem I have with the sentence. Why is your character so downtrodden about this? Like, I tried my best to stop her. What kind of fucking thought is that? At this point, you're not going to think like that. You're going to be like, oh, god damn it, she's going to die. Like, you sound like, I tried my diddly darn darnest. Oh, howdy, I'll do better next time, Jiminy Cricket. I changed this a bit. It's like, it was possible she could have succeeded, but my experience made it hard to believe something like that. Sort of sell you on the idea that your character should... I don't know. I feel that this extra line could have been compressed a bit more. This feels like it's... I don't know the way... How do I put this? These two sentences, like, if my experience was any indication, her performance would not turn out well. Feels a little long for what it's really trying to say. It's like, in my experience, it's not going to work out. I don't know, something about... Maybe it's just the way I talk. Because, funnily enough, that could just be it. Like, it's not a legitimate criticism, it's just the way I'm used to speaking and writing is fundamentally opposed to this. It's time change. It's just, otherwise I would drag too much attention. Because, honestly, you'd be kind of a dick if you stepped in here and then the whole competition basically gets cancelled because everyone want to ask you questions. Which is a valid concern at this point. I don't know why, but I feel like some of my translations coming out right now are just very flimsy. My brain just feels kind of weird. Perform. Yeah, I really like some of this. I like. It's like, and then came the thunder of the applause, and then it was Adine's turn. Ah, I like this. Ooh, a little bit of a iteration, and then it was Adine's turn. That really just gives a little extra, little extra snappy snaps. Announcer. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. I imagine announcer is like a shorthand or something like that. It's like you can just put in literal text for the sake of it. Okay, let me get in the mood, because I can do this. I know how to do this. Next up, number 11, a newcomer who now, in front of all of you, will show herself for the first time! There we go. Translation's a bit hard, though. Actually. God, how do I translate this? I like this. Oh, this is great. And up next is number 11, the newcomer who, for the first time, will show her artwork and joy. Oh, that sounds very final, though. Oh, wait. Oh. Ooh. Oh, I know what to do this. I know what to do this. I got the perfect thing in mind for this, though. There we go. Ah, this is nice. A newcomer that will hear her for the first time show her aerial acrobatics. Once is the first time, so enjoy the debut of, and then her stage name. Ah, that's so snappy. That's exactly the kind of person you'd imagine would host this festival. Ah, I love it. You got it. I just love getting when it's a little bit of snap, you know. Because announcers are like, they're basically like auction housemen. You gotta give them a little bit of a voice. You gotta make it feel like you're in a place and a time, and there's someone who's like, it's a local competition. Whoever it is loves his job. You know, he's not gonna sit there year in, year out unless he loves it. Like, they found someone who throws in way too much oil and water onto the oil fire. Wait, is it applause or applause? Cause, oh yeah, it's for two piece. Whoops. Whoops! Oh, I actually got it right. Whoops. Oh, can I change this? Can I change this? I hope I can, because I need to change this. I imagine I can change this. Because it's a literal, right? Oh, I hope that can change that. Ah, should I? There we go. A little bit of spice. 1,000 times excuse. But today, number 11 will not fly. But don't worry, because number 12 is here, and he'll show us an unusual technique, which you might already know. Now that's getting you riled up. Or at least it sounds like something. I wonder who the announcer is. Like, let me get this straight. It's like, this is a whole thing that's organized, and like a lot of technology is being shown off here, technically, which is never used everywhere else. Like, I don't think anyone ever goes around the street announcing things, which is kind of weird. Do you think at this point there'd be like a dude being like, if you see a wrestler, don't do this? I don't know. Yeah, that's a common feeling, is you're like, man, I could have, I should have, you know. It's a nasty feeling. It's not a fun feeling. It's not a feeling you want. But at the end of the day, it's part of it. It's part of it. It's part of video games. Is you're gonna end up with that kind of feeling. It's not fun. Actually, I want to look this one up because there are some very good things about promises. What kind of thing is that? This is a Dutch institution. There we go. Oh. Oh, so it can only go to the dialect, huh? There we go, Belofte Maxkult. Which I don't think works in this situation. Oh, I know one. I know one. And it wasn't the moon. Adding that because it's kind of doofy, because there's a fucking moon in the sky. You gotta say it's not the moon. Oh, there's a thing for this one. Where is this found? Oh, it's just called PY, so it might be a background. MPY. Oh heck. Oh heck. Yeah, that's also that's not how that works. So there's two conditions under which that thing is light. A, it's lit up by the sun and it's reflecting onto us. Fun fact, it means that yes, comets do have fucking moon phases. Or it's already evaporating in the atmosphere, in which case you're already boned. Comets don't really light up. They light up because they're burning up in the atmosphere or because they're reflecting sunlight. Which would mean the moon, even if at its darkest, would probably light up real nice if it ever decides to crash into the Earth. Until then, the moon is just a dark body. It doesn't emit light on its own. Like, I'm pretty sure most comet trails will be completely dark without the sun there. Like, there's nothing that emits light. No friction or energy emission. So, here's the thing that gets me. Why is Adine the scene that gets you this? It's kind of weird how Adine is the only person to point out basically the rest of the game. Like, every other character doesn't have this going for them. Like, it's much more about them. Adine has just moved past her main character arc, which also I have a slight problem that the good ending is tied into this, because it's not the good ending that gets you to solve Adine's problem and make her realize things. Makes it kind of doofy. But the thing about this that just gets me the most, that I don't know what to think about it, is this. Why is Adine the one character to point this out? Isn't Bryce doing night shifts? Doesn't Anna sit at night a lot? Does she not care about stars? Probably doesn't. She's way too busy. Laura might. He seems like the kind of person to pull some light shifts, or, I don't know, fly around town a bunch. It's bright enough that you could see it inside a city. Adding a tiny little line where stars are too far away. Just a kind of, extra hint. Little extra sleepy snap. Like, stars are too far away to move. So, This advanced society just doesn't give a shit. Like, this asteroid is passing by. This just feels like, it's like, at this point it just feels like it's trying to contrive itself into existence. You know what would be a lot more logical? If it's not visible. Because, you know, again, you can't see stuff unless the sun is shining on it, which is probably why you have to wait until a specific moment to see it. But it's entirely logical, like, you could excuse this very simply. They can't see it, because you can't see it during the day too well. No one looks through a telescope during the day, and they don't look during the twilight hours when it would logically be most easily seen in a lit or fully illuminated state. So they don't see it that much, or they don't have the time to research it all that much. And because of that, their analysis is slightly off, so they can't fully predict its path, so the path they predict is wrong. So they think, oh, it goes past, but it doesn't. You know, that kind of stuff. Because it's kind of doofy that they have this technology, and they're just like, oh, that thing's just gonna... It's no worry about this. No worry about this thing that's gonna be super fucking big. Ugh. It's... I guess it's not really an exact science, because once you start having a lot of gravitational bodies, but you can predict a pretty precise path with these things, especially as they come closer. Like, this thing is going to impact in a couple of weeks. I'm pretty fucking sure you can calculate it's going to hit you or not at that point, especially if your society's this advanced. Although if they don't have satellites and more advanced, like, ways of calculating trajectories, I can imagine they might not have it. Especially if your astronomy department is underfunded, it's entirely possible they just can't make the calculations either fast enough or accurate enough. Or they just don't have the data. That's also possible. What was that? There was a little sound going. Man, that was spooky. The main reason it's not that precise is when objects are far away. There's a lot of objects you can't calculate in. Like, they could hit something that we just can't see and it drastically changes course. Like, that's entirely possible. But when something is this motherfucking close, I'm pretty fucking sure you can calculate it. Like, again, a few weeks in space is not a lot of time. It takes a year for the Earth to go around the Sun. That's what, 52 second or something? Like, that's a pretty small fraction. I wonder how close to actual impact they discover this. Like, this is never explained. How accurate are they? I find that hilarious. Although it makes sense. If God was just on the Earth instead of in the sky, naturally people wouldn't give a shit about looking into the sky. Also, Dragon Season is in a world where seasons are probably not as strong. Decided to change a bit, just to add a little bit of a comical note to this. That's awfully specific. Like, it is kind of weird that they're not giving a shit. This is awesome. Like, Azumi went back and said, do this, please. And then they didn't. Why? I'm gonna stop here because I'm about to get super mad. Actually, let's get past this. These people are strict traditionalists, and fucking God says, look at the skies. Watching the skies. And they're like, nope. What? If Jesus Christ, or Muhammad, or whoever the hell wrote the Torah, his last words were like, hey, dudes, quick warning. You might want to watch, I don't know, Vesuvius or Yellowstone. If you find something and it's called Yellowstone, watch it super hard, okay? And he just goes, yoom, out of there. Pretty fucking sure people be like, this Yellowstone place sure looks like it might be part of some divine prophecy we were told about years ago. Like, what the fuck? Like, especially if, like, the people who found it are, like, Christian traditionalists. That's the problem. The council is clearly driven by, like, religion's fundamentalists, and they throw this out the window? All Izumi has to do is just show up again and be like, I'm the god. Why didn't you watch the skies? I literally told you to watch the skies, you dumb shits. Like, this is such a contrivance that does not work. You know what you could do? Not have that story involved at all. Like, you can ignore it, just not have it. Azumi doesn't tell them this. Maybe she just figures they'll figure it out on their own, you know? Maybe Azumi's optimistic about the circumstances. So she's like, okay, they'll watch the skies themselves. They'll fix the problem themselves. I don't have to tell them specifically. Have Azumi say that later. And be like, hey, listen, I told the dragons to watch the skies. I figured, I never told them because I figured they'd be smart enough to figure that out on their own. Like, they have enough interest and free fucking time to do this. Like, it's so stupid that in a world of such fundamentalist religious people, they just say, the word of God, well, fuck it. When the word of God has kind of gotten several people in trouble, like, Anna is in jail because of their strict adherence to religious... Like, if Anna's story wasn't like that, this be much more okay as a storyline, but you can't have this weird mishmash of religious rules in a culture that clearly is extremely traditionalist in every possible way. They have fucking chairs that don't work for them, for fuck's sake. If they hold on to chairs, they're gonna hold on to a literal divine prophecy. Chairs don't work for them. Ah! Such a contrivance. And it doesn't... You know what? Next time I'll do this more. I'm done. It's been 34 minutes. Almost 35. And I'm getting angry. And then I get loud, and I don't like being loud. I want to be quiet. I want to... Shh. Quiet, boy. Shh. Why? Why, though? The dragons are traditionalists to such a ridiculous extent, and they slowly phase it out of existence. And all they have... Where's the private industry to this? Like, the space travel is useful. Satellites are useful. And they just sort of ignore this. I mean, yes, we are underfunding NASA as it stands. But you can't say that NASA isn't able to do these predictions. Like, they're still in office. They're not a token office anymore. Or they've never been. They're still useful. People still care. There's other space agencies across the globe. And that's the part that gets me so much. Is that somehow this happened. And no one seems to be like, hey. Like, why don't the actual religious people follow up on this? Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to the Jesus example. So, the government, which used to be like Christian, is like, okay, we're not Christian, so religious prophecy about Yellowstone, bloop, go out the window. Wouldn't you think, like, the Catholic Church would be like, hey, we still believe in this divine prophecy, let's build and fund our own office in Yellowstone instead of having to rely on the government. Organized religion is a thing you could do. Like, it just feels so stupid. It's such a contrivance that doesn't work because it doesn't work. It's... so mad. Ooh, big angry. Loud voice. Next time. Now I got two major topics to put as title.